Aztec Safety is #1 for online safety training.
Aztec Safety is the proud sponsor of the Aztec Safety Challenge, the #1 event on the World Curling Tour.
And Aztec Safety has been a proud sponsor of Team Jacobs on our quest to represent Canada at the Olympic Games.
A very pleasant good day, curling fans, and welcome to the Martensville Curling Club. It's the tiebreakers of the Grand Slam of Curling Canadian Open Tier 2, brought to you here on Curling Stadium. We have this matchup between Xiao Ming against Takumi Maeda. So both teams need to win this game in order to move on to the quarterfinals. I'm Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Sean Joyce. Connor Sims is our producer this morning.
I'm going to start the day off by being a bit of a disturber. We won't say what, but does this as a tiebreaker count as playoffs?
I would think so.
Okay, well then, if they end up tied after 8, they have to play an extra end.
Yeah, I would think that that's the rule here. I would consider this a playoff.
Well, I'm not sure of that because technically you're still trying to determine your playoff teams and the.
So is it like Major League Baseball where it's a one-game playoff, game number 163 on the schedule?
Well, yeah, essentially. Yeah, so I'm not sure which rule they're playing this under.
No.
It was quite the conglomerate.
Hopefully a team can win this one in 8 and we don't have to worry about it.
It was quite the conglomeration through the men's side. There hasn't been a single game go to a shootout yet. So when it was all finished last night, they hadn't decided a whole lot. I guess 5 teams were through clear at 3 wins, 1 loss, 9 points. And then there were 8 teams tied for the last 3 spots. Half the field was still tied for 3 spots.
It is Team Maeda, Loco Drago, with Hammer here. They're throwing the Yellowstones. And Shu is throwing the Redstones. So have you seen the Chinese team play yet, Sean?
I have not.
Neither have I.
For that matter, I really haven't seen Maeda. I saw a little bit of the game last night just as I was logging on to see who was winning and try to figure out the combinations. Again, with no shootouts in the men's, it was easy to figure out the combinations. We knew before the draw started last night there was going to be at least one tiebreaker in the men's. It was just who did what in that last draw was going to affect how many teams were tied and how many spots were up for grabs. The women's, they had at least 4 games go to shootouts, and it might have been 5 if I remember right. So they had a lot more teams with, there were a couple of teams with 8 points. There were teams with 7. There were teams with. So there was a chance last night, even right up to the last rock, that they might not have had any tiebreakers in the women's side, but they do have one. That's on the ice this morning as well.
And 3 on the men's side. Nice throw there by Kamikawa. Throwing second stones for Zhu is Li Zhizhao. Both teams seems to find draw weight here in the early going.
Yeah, and the line, because they're taking turns setting up the ankles well.
So Kamikawa looking to make the run back here. Gets it back.
Oh, that's pretty. He couldn't have made it any better than that.
Let's see that one again, Connor.
Probably not actually even the way they were looking to do. He was probably looking to get a thick piece in that first one and stick the run back stone. But that probably squirts the yellow out into the open by getting the thin tick on the first one. And he didn't get it out, but that's not critical. Then touches the back one and left that middle Yellowstone. It's still, a good third behind cover. Going to be hard to make a play on this and stay buried.
This one's getting awfully close to the one they just threw. They just skinny by.
Well, hard but not impossible. Oh, there's the issue. He doesn't have the weight to get it out. But now you can play bigger weight on that one in the middle and get over towards those two catchers on the side.
Indeed. There you go. We have confirmation from that there are extra ends in these games. I'd like to thank club manager James Gordon for chiming in with that information.
That was a nice double because not only did they were thinner than they were hoping to be on the first one, but by doing that, they had doubled the back one. Well, look where it ended up when it doubled the back one. It's also dead buried.
Yeah, and all of a sudden it's a boatload of trouble for Team Shu. Trying to work this one in. Looks light. Good brush there. It is shot.
I think so. It's probably the best they could do with it because now you have to at least play the run back. We've already found out if you could put it in the forefoot, you can chase with enough weight to push it out.
So this is a rematch for these teams. These two teams met in draw number 3. It was Zhu that won that one. Score in that game was 5-3 in his favor. So Team Drago looking for some payback.
Well, this is the chance to get out of some trouble here. You're shot now at the top of the 8-foot. If you come down around that quarter and cut off that back one, like that could get rid of the biter at least at the back. I can't see them getting rid of all 3 reds with what's left to go. I wonder if there's any chance he could move that back. Okay, let's start with our normal game of it's Connor's fault.
Oh, that goes without saying.
Because I see 3 reds and 2 yellows, and somehow the yellows have the hammer, and that's just messing me up.
There we go. First skip rack. Connor will burn off another red now. There it is. That's our standard procedure here on Curling Stadium. If anything is askew, it is Connor's fault.
Even on the games when he's not working.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting a t-shirt made.
Well, you would be the person to talk to about that.
That is not deep enough because not only does it leave a double, but there's a chance it clips the third one.
I agree with you.
And that could bring 3 into play.
Yeah, I definitely think a triple is there.
Yeah, that back 12 one kind of looked like there was no chance it was coming back into the
Conversation.
scoring outlook conversation. Yeah, but you look at where you're going to hit. This is where I need my telestrator. You look at where you're going to hit the first one, so you're fully up in the 12 foot. As you come into that second one, you're probably clipping a little bit on the front end of it, which is going to bring it back towards that. You have to get dead into the side of that second one to go over the top of and that means you're paper thin on the first one. So it's going to be over there somewhere. I mean, it might jam.
It's a big shot for Maeda Takumi. Here in the first, he's looking to make the triple. 1, 2, make contact.
Yeah, jam.
You moved them all. You're going to lie 2 at the end of it, undercover, so that's not bad at all.
3 still in the conversation because he can't really make a play on any of the yellows. So
he's going to try to draw his way out of it again.
Yeah, I don't see anything else. I mean, this is such a tough shot. It's there. You're playing to such a small spot here because you got to get a piece around that yellow one that was just thrown, and yet you still need to stay high enough that if they decide to chase it, they have to risk jamming it on the yellow at the back. You know, if you're dead even with that yellow at the back, he can probably chase it with enough to push it out. So you don't have a ton of space for this shot.
So final stone for Chu.
They haven't touched it. This might be too deep.
Needs to curl. They need every ounce of finish. It's too deep for sure. Dig that out for 3, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a heavy draw. You just need to move it back into the 12 foot.
So he's facing the 1 at the moment with a shot for a big 3 in the first end. Final stone of end number 1. Kamikawa and Takoro on this one right away.
Yeah, it's going to get tight to that one on the top of the house.
They're going to have to scrub really hard. Keep
not
it
getting
moving,
by.
gentlemen. You got to go. Do they make it? No. Will it settle for 1? It will. So a little disappointing, but no real harm. Single point for Maeda. Zhu has a hammer when we return. It's tiebreaker action at the Grand Slam on Curling Stadium.
Brett, come on, man. I know Aztec's #1 for online safety training, but we really should be out here practicing.
I know, guys. I'll be right there. Just let me finish this course on gas detection. Wait. Do you smell that?
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatchewan in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
And welcome back to Martensville. Single point for Maeda and Team Drago there, and it was a missed opportunity there, Shawnee.
Yeah, that was a chance to get 3. Jump out to a big early lead, and you can put some pressure on. Keeping in mind, also these 2 teams, if they at the 6 or the 8, actually, all the teams that are out here playing the tiebreakers this morning. If you're going to make it through to the playoffs, you're looking at playing 3 games today, which nobody has done all week. That the draws at the slams are set up so that you don't have to do that as a rule. But once you have to play a tiebreaker game, that there's just so many hours in the day. They have to figure it out. So they've still got to go on and play a quarterfinal and a semifinal later on today. Could make for a long day. So if you could get an early lead and, mentally and physically that could be easier. Plus you could have a short game.
I would have been okay with sleeping in, but I'm very excited about this game because I really think this is going to be a nice one.
Well, they all could be out here this morning, especially, everybody out here is 2-2. Like they've all been competitive. Interesting. I hadn't even thought about that. I'm looking at the women's side, the tiebreakers. And I knew that too. There were 4 teams tied for the 1 spot there. So 2 men's teams, 2 women's teams eliminated based on their cumulative draw to the button score. And then we've got all these teams out here playing tiebreakers this morning. Every one of them ended up 2-2 with no shootout victories. So
again, so much for the shootout breaking ties along the way.
Well, there were no shootouts on the men's side, but there were on the women's, and it did break some of the ties because there were 1, 2, 3 teams, I think, that ended up at 7 points. They were 2-2, but one of their losses came in an overtime or in a shootout loss, so they got a point for those games. And there was at least one team, and I don't have the standings in front of me now. There's at least one team that was 2-2, but one of her wins was in a shootout, so she only got 2 points for that, so she was at 5. So, there were actually 8 teams, I think, on the women's side that ended up 2-2 as well, but the shootout broke some of those ties.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this to Jim at my club. We run our competitive league on a 3-point system, and we've hardly ever have a tie at the end of the session.
But I think the weird part of it was just the fact that there were no shootouts on the men's. That was probably very unexpected. Yeah, 8 teams on both sides tied for the last playoff spots. But on the women's side, 3 of them got through because they had a point from shootout losses, and one didn't make the tiebreaker because they had a shootout win.
Well, you are resident bracketologist.
Well, I was able to pull it. It's the way it's posted on the Slam website. I was able to pull it into a spreadsheet and then resort them. So I didn't work that hard at it, if I'm honest.
Still Connor's fault.
Oh yeah, I gotta get that t-shirt ready. I feel like I could make big money off that.
I'll buy one.
I want to know how many does Connor's mom want? Oh, now we're fighting dirty.
You kidding? We had to do a trademark search. She might already have that trademarked.
Well, that's true.
So here's Kamikawa.
I feel like we're going to hear from him during the commercial break this time.
Hey. Well, if we do, we have it coming. That one is outside.
Yeah, just can't get that rolling behind.
Felt like we had a little bit of a straight spot there in the sheet last night.
You could could make an argument for just straight out drawing here, but I like the call for the hit and roll, and the reason why you got to get rid of this yellow, because that red guard that's kind of protecting a piece of the stone in the 4 foot now, it's also close enough to the house to split. So you make the yellows go away. That works because I don't think he can see enough of the inside to play the double. The
hit and roll would be a great shot, though.
Hit and roll in front would take some pressure off, or put it on the other side, I guess.
That's going to be the call for Maeda Hiroki. Off and on, probably pretty close. Need to get the hit and a little roll. Curl up. You're on the guard still. Oh.
Told you that guard was splittable. Wasn't expecting it to be the yellows that did it, though.
Well, that's just not good. So do you just hit the open one or throw one up high?
I'm never a big fan of a center guard with last rock. So I think you hit the open one. The double doesn't hurt you if he makes the double. He's sitting open. The guard's so high, if he hits and rolls behind, you can probably chase. The only shot I see that maybe starts to take a lot of rocks away, and boy, you'd have to have some guts to throw it, would be the freeze in that pocket.
Yeah, that'd be that would be guts. That's for sure.
There's an argument to be made. It might be the right call, but you have to make the shot. There's a bit of a break-handed back.
Does it clear? Yes, it does. So definitely have to take the double on here.
Well, I think you hit the outside one and try to roll towards them now.
I'll just roll into the pocket.
Yeah.
You don't think you can kind of little round the Hornish and get rid of them all?
I mean, in theory, it's probably there, but it's such a low percentage chance. Well, he's going to hit the middle one.
Each team afforded 2 timeouts. Here's Hiroki. He kills those 2. And that skittered just a little bit too far.
Yeah, now you're drawing. Not there, you're not drawing there. This is a mistake.
So what makes it a mistake, Sean?
Well,
they're
going to hit the one on the outside, and they're going to roll toward it. Now you've just given them extra options. They can roll buried. They can roll right into this one. They could roll on top of it, and then they take away both of them. You come around that center guard and leave it high. Like, you don't need to be to the tee line. You only need full 12 foot to be shot rock, and that guard's high enough to give you some protection up that high. The reason he's probably leery to do that is that Maeda might just decide to come around everything, but he's flirting with giving up a really big end doing that. This gives him a get out of jail shot here. There's just too many options with this too. Like, it's a long double, but there's more than one good result for Maeda on this. You can roll behind the guard.
Right.
You can roll in front of that red.
Okay.
Or you can make the double. And so, he's fairly thin on the first one to make the double, so he doesn't need to whip this. So when you're thin on the first one, you're going to carry a lot of the weight through on your shooter. You can make this with
normal.
Well, normal. You probably could make it with control. You want to throw a weight where if you hit it too thick, you're going to roll into the 8 foot at the back and behind cover, and you don't want to throw so much weight that, we hit this too thick. We're going to roll over the top and out of the rings.
So lining up the angles.
Yeah, it didn't take a lot of ice. I have a tendency he wants to throw it with some weight. I do think I saw a little piece of one of his games last night, and
He threw a couple heavier than he should have.
he likes the big weight, and I'm as guilty of that as anybody. If you like the big weight and you feel like you throw it well, sometimes you overuse it.
So his first, looking for the long cross houser here. It's close. Get the one on and over. Catch it. Oh, you jam it in the back and flip out. So close. Take another look, Connor.
You remember what I said about if you throw the big weight and you hit it a little too thick? You
Yep.
got room to go over the top and out of the rings. And I mean, I know this now, but when I was younger and could throw the big weight, I would have been guilty of this on occasion as well. Now, if you Christmas tree this, I don't know what Maeda does with this last one. Do you just try to pick one of them out? Do you play a little bit more aggressively? You dead bury this, he probably has to hit the back one and give up 2.
I think this one's a bit heavy.
You come behind the tee line, all bets are off.
Starting to settle in. Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree.
Yeah, he got well past the Christmas tree, so he can hit the back one now.
Hit the back one and concede your deuce.
Yeah.
Now, this is probably the weight you want to see on the other shot.
Yeah, something in that neighborhood. And you see a lot of teams nowadays playing the quieter weight as much as they can. It's still the big weights in most of these teams' repertoire, but with everything that we've learned over the last, 2016 was when Broomgate started. So, in the last 9 to 10 years, with everything they've learned about what they can do with the brushes, they'll throw quieter weight as often as they can as a rule, because the quieter the throw is, the more the brushes can do with it.
Final stone the second just needs a piece of the rings. And they get their deuce. Maeda trails by 1 when we come back to Martensville.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com. the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
And welcome back to Martensville. It's the Grand Slam of Curling Canadian Open Tier 2. It's the tiebreakers between Team Zhu and Team Maeda. Maeda trails by 1, has the hammer, throwing the Yellowstones in at number 3. Wants this one to stop. It does. You see that center guard not on the center line.
Yeah, not likely to matter this early in the game. I don't think we'll see a tick shot attempted in the third end, but...
And just a reminder that we're playing under the Grand Slam rules that only allow 1 blank end per team per game.
Yeah, that rule doesn't go away, but they are, we believe, now playing extra ends in these tiebreakers as opposed to the shootouts that they were playing through the preliminary portion.
They could have potentially played, as we pointed out before.
Yeah.
No men's team had a shootout, which seems just statistically unlikely.
Well, it does, unless, and you know, we didn't watch all the games, certainly. We watched a number of them, but there were a few games that there were a couple of men's teams put into positions where they couldn't afford a shootout win. They needed to win outright, and it certainly did change the way they played the last few ends. It looked like it. You know, they were playing a little bit more aggressively when normally they might have just been trying to hold on to last rock in the extra end. Well, that wasn't an option. And it could have been the whole event. It could have been teams very conscious of the fact that they wanted the extra point.
So that corner freeze comes in nicely. Off the hand of Takaro. Just looking for just a little split here and split it up right there, buddy.
I would think likely.
It's a nice gentle weight, probably about board.
Yeah, no, he's trying to get across the face, kill it. Didn't get across the face. Yeah, I thought he'd be coming down with quieter weight, just try to get, again, just past the nose, double tap, but then line up the red-yellow to go by everything. We've seen a lot of that this week from both the men's and the women's. And there's so much of that play now in the game when it's all about manipulating angles early in the end. I was surprised that he threw that much weight at that one.
This one's going to be really close to the guard. It's all over it. So there's an unforced error.
6th stone of the end, so that was no longer a free guard. It's not horrible either for Maeda, because now there's no center guards left, and he's got a couple of corners. You can see here, even as he calls this, Zhu not comfortable with the situation. Like you're going to hit that rock, roll back towards the center, and he can see it, right? You're going to leave a double and roll behind the corner here, but what else do you do? Well, probably not this.
Ooh. Well, back-to-back misses there kind of leave us right where we started 2 rocks ago.
Yeah, and I'm with Maeda. I think you're freezing that one on the open side right now. Your sliver under on the other side. If anything, you want to be just a hair to the inside corner on the red one, frozen at the back, because there is a chance that Zhu, if you're right to the face, Zhu could play the crosshouse double. Even if he does and makes it, you've still got the corners to come around. This is a good setup for Maeda with so many rocks left to come. He's got plenty of chances to set up a deuce and possibly 3 yet.
This one's over curling a hair. Should be okay, though. Just fine.
Yeah, there's probably room to clear the back red if he wants to try the double. Looks like that's what they were playing. He's showing him where he needs to hit it.
So here's Beijing King. Off and on. They think it's close. A little bit of curl here at the end. Contact to the first one across the house and under. So you see Maeda thinking the split.
Wow. Yeah, this is aggressive. Well, he's got to play it as more than a split if he's going to bring it onto the board. He's got to play the yellow angled onto that red at the side of the 12-foot and then try to roll in. I don't think there's any other way you're getting this in far enough into the house.
So here's Soroki.
Straight come around definitely would have been an option here.
What I expected for sure. He said this is a bold play.
Yeah, because there's all kinds of potential to just drive the yellow one through. Or don't get it thick enough, and so the yellow that you just tapped up is definitely not overcounting that red.
Yeah, I don't think any of them are.
Well, no. Well, the top one might be beating the one on the side. I mean, the one at the back is still second shot, I think. The red one at the back, 12-foot, that's behind the Yellowstone. But, I mean, it's going to go away, well, likely right now.
So now Maeda's already eyeing up to see if he can get around the outside there.
Yeah, this is a questionable call as well, because there's too much chance you're going to kill the second shot as well.
Kind of like that.
Yeah. So now who's second? Is it the one at the top 12? Maybe he thinks he had second and third, in which case now he's sitting 2. And if that's the case, well, then I like it.
It is very close.
And it looks like he wants to make a play on that red. I got to believe it must be second shot then. It's close. Hard to tell. And the of course, it's always a little bit tough to tell from the overhead anyway, but then we've got a little bit of glare at the top of the 12-foot, which distorts what you see. Yeah. I'm just using stuff on my desk to try to measure the screen. I do think it's the red that's second shot, so. Maeda's got 3 stones left, so if he's going to make a play to get to that second shot stone, it does make sense to play it early. That one on the other side's always going to be open. Talking about playing the guard just across the face of the yellow, and if he's trying to roll that far, he's thinking about playing this with Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. At least bumper weight, because he's
Yep.
hitting the guard across the face of the one in the 12-foot, try to slash it back towards that red second shot. And then he's looking for a big roll. You're not making it with less than board. You could almost throw control at this. Of course, the harder you throw it, if you don't hit it just right, there's a chance of losing a yellow. And one of the keys to this shot, he's trying to keep all the yellows around. Even if that yellow on the far side is still sitting shot right that after this, if you're sitting second, third, and fourth, that puts some pressure on.
Very aggressive strategy here in the third end from Maeda.
Yeah, but not a bad time to do it if you're going to play aggressive. You make this here, you got a chance yet for the big end. If you don't, you still got time to set up the skips deuce, and you're not in any big trouble right now.
So on the one, on the second one, past the red.
Too thick on the first one, though.
So just playing the simple hit here and sit 3.
Yeah, you'll have to roll a bit to do that. Not really playing the double, I don't think, though. If you played the double, you'll kind of set up. I mean, you're in the 12-foot, but it's still a corner guard essentially, and Maeda might come around it and leave the possibility to jam on that red at the side. So try to roll in just far enough to sit 3, I would think. The double's not the end of the world.
Make the hit. That is 4th rock.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason to hit that one. You either come around it, or you could play the angle on that yellow yet. Yellow onto the red, roll your shooter in. Straight back's not a horrible idea either. You wouldn't be shot, but you'd be buried around one of your own.
If you go and throw that, isn't Shu just coming top 4?
Well, he's going to try, but you got to be real careful not to leave a double onto that outside one. You could freeze the outside one. I don't hate the draw. I actually don't hate he's been trying it all in to try to get something over there. You could play the angle run and roll in.
He's looked at it.
It's actually easier now than it has been any of the times they've tried it because it's only one rock. You won't get shot playing that. I don't think you can roll in enough for shot. Well, unless you hit it just right so that you hit the red and it rolls in, then I don't know if your shooter rolls in far enough. But again, your second and third with one lonely red sitting out the edge of the 8-foot, it puts some pressure on Zhu.
Yeah, Kamikawa coming down to join the conversation.
They talked about freezing the shot rock. You freeze the shot rock, you're hoping that he blasts it out, then you're going to have a chance with your last one, but still, it's probably just for one. You're not likely going to play that slash against a potential steal of 2.
They're going with the draw. I like this. I think it's time to regroup. You took a lot of shots at being aggressive here. Let's tighten it up a touch.
Well, you guarantee you get a chance to score here. He makes the short run. You don't want to be perfectly in behind here, because if you're perfectly in behind, he makes the short run and dead sticks it, you could make for a very small scoring area, but have to be in front of the tee line. And on this ice, probably 3/4 around just to make sure that he has to play the run. Can't come at it directly.
His first of 2 here in the third. This one's really, really close to the guard. You know what? Good that you threw it now because you need that practice, it looks like.
Yeah, well, but now it's a staggered guard at the front, and if Xiao gets around there.
Oh, it's going to suck. So that one was off by about 6 feet, 7 feet.
Bite the top of the button here, and it's tough to score.
Final for the skipper here. Trying to hold this one out. Both men on it now to try to drag it. Line's fine. It's all about the weight.
Yeah, this looks pretty good.
That is pretty good.
I think it's got the pin. Like, you can't score unless you move it.
So that's going to be the call. Little heavy draw. This is precise.
Yeah, well, and here's the scary part of it. You throw that, you need enough weight to move it, and not just a few inches. Like, you're going to make contact. You're not even going to be biting the button yet. So this has to get pushed all the way through the button. So you need probably, you tend to lose about 2 feet of weight when you're playing a tap. So he's going to need to be almost through the 4 foot weight to hit this. Well, what if it doesn't run the same with that kind of weight? You could go right by it.
And if you run a little bit tight, you're going to raise your opponent in for 4. Final stone of the third end.
This is a long ways out there with a lot of weight.
Turning point in the game right here. Already trying to carve it over. That's not good.
Well, and the other side of that is as you're trying to carve it, you're still adding weight. There's 2 more reds there.
Can they get a little piece? They need to get a little piece. Now they just graze it, and it's going to be a steal of 2. So Xiao will have a 4-1 lead as we head to the 4th. We'll be back from Martensville on Curling Stadium.
Hey, Mark, you ready for this game tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Cupsy, what are you doing over there?
Don't worry, boys. Was just on AztecSafety.com, took a fire extinguisher safety course. Paul, I'm putting out the fires from now on. Woo!
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at the RockShop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. The RockShop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Who knew after 20 years in real estate I'd have to make silly videos for Instagram and come out behind a tree?
Stu, we need to do this stuff.
Why can't I just door knock into open houses like I did in the old days?
That doesn't work anymore.
Okay, so it's because I'm sitting here behind a tree. Come use us for real estate.
And welcome back to Martensville. And a bit of a disastrous third end for Maeda Takumi there, Sean.
Yeah, had a couple of opportunities to try to set something up with some aggressive shots. Didn't go his way. Actually still had time to get out of it with the last two, but, short with his first draw and then quite heavy on the second one. He was fortunate it wasn't three.
Yeah, it was just one little spin away from being three.
Yeah, or don't touch. Like, he almost didn't touch that rock on the way by. If he doesn't touch it, it doesn't stop.
So he trails by 3. The score is 4-1.
And to add insult to injury, his corner guard is sitting there in the 12-foot, which means you can hit it.
And they do hit it, move to the center. Obviously, with a 3-stone lead, they can change gears a little bit to being a little bit more conservative.
Wow, especially in an end where the other team's got the last rock. If you could force him to use his blank here, you've still got one blank of your own. You're 3 points up. You're just trying to shorten this game now. Boy, with that rotation, it's going to carry. It'll stop, though.
They got that corner guard up. Oh, I heard a broom slam there. So Team Drago's got some work to do, Sean.
Yeah. Tempting to play this as a freeze, actually, but and only because of the blank rule, and I guess the fact that he's down as well. I get what he's thinking. You want to clean up the middle. That's more the traditional way to think. But there's a chance this end disappears into nothing real quick, especially with that rollout. Now they're going to peel the corner guard. Now we're probably at the spot where maybe the best they can hope for is to get to a blank.
Get the hit and roll. It's going to roll a little bit too far. Almost looks like Maeda is trying to steer this possibly towards a blank, but without giving up the opportunity for a deuce.
Yeah, like I said, that makes a lot of sense for Maeda. If you can get, or pardon me, for Zhu. Maeda, now it's at the point where he's kind of got no choice. I don't see a chance setting up for two, so you have to get back to a blank opportunity. It's interesting because you can only blank one end yourself. So for Zhu to blank two ends, he's got to convince Maeda to do one of them for you. But with a 3-point lead, 2 blank ends would help you. It shortens up the game. There's only 3 ends left to score in, and presumably he's going to score in at least one of those. That's not leaving Maeda a lot of time to get back to even. If Maeda doesn't embrace the opportunity to blank this end, though, there's a chance he gets forced. And that might be worse. Could make all of them go here.
One, two, three. There they go. Just like that.
Haven't seen it end this open all week. Yeah, and we're late enough in the end. I don't even think early in the end, you might now just ignore because it's just one. It's not a threat. You throw a corner guard a couple of times, but if you do that now, Zhu probably comes around it and forces you to one. So you just have to take your blank. Things just didn't start out well enough for them this end, and
yeah, they're going to have to try it again.
Yeah.
And back and forth we go. I don't even have fun facts ready.
Yeah, well, it's a silver lining here just in that because he struggled with draw weight last end, so it's a chance to throw one here in a not so critical situation. Just get one in, get it established in your own mind what draw weight is. You know, he's probably hitting with the last, unless there's another rollout, he's hitting with the last one to get the blank. And then he's going to have to try to set up for 2 or perhaps even more. You might see him, when he's 3 down, he might, even in the 5th end, throw double corners and see if he can't get a shot at 3. This can't be short.
If it's short, it's going to get drawn around.
It's going to get drawn around, and if it's buried, you could be forced here again. The draw weight struggles continue for him.
Yeah, Maeda Takumi just says, well, can't find it in the dictionary right now. So, opportunity for Zhu to draw underneath here.
Key to this, you got to dead bury it. You don't want to give the chance for the blank. They got to keep this moving, or it's going to still be enough exposed to go after it. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, you could do it.
He's going to give it a shot.
Yeah, it's not without risk, but it's there on this ice. There's lots of room between the guard and the one in the house with, well, they're talking about bumper. I was thinking control, but it'll finish, and you don't need to. You need to push it about 5 feet. You need to roll 5 feet.
Yeah, I think you need heavy board control.
You can make it with board, but
You got to be perfect at board.
Yeah, you're playing with precision. Yeah.
So Maeda Takumi, final stone of the fourth end. He's looking for the blank. Has to just skinny the guard. Remove the red and spill his yellow as well. On the carve on the straight. Just slides by. And they make the blank. Great shot at a key moment for Maeda. Halfway through. He trails by 3. We'll be back on Curling Stadium.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Welcome back. Fourth end break. Team Drago trails by 3. Second half action coming at you from Martensville after this.
Brett, come on, man. I know Aztec's #1 for online safety training, but we really should be out here practicing.
I know, guys. I'll be right there. Just let me finish this course on gas detection. Wait. Do you smell that?
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatchewan in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbach coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
And welcome back to Martensville. We're in the second half of action. It was a blank end, the only blank that could be exercised by Team Maeda. He trails by 3, trying to get a good setup here. Dave Schmel, joined by Sean Joyce and Connor Sims, is on the production, doing a bang-up job. So you certainly expect Team Maeda to play a little bit hard here because you're going to run out of ends and they're going to have to take a score of some sort here in end number 5.
Yeah, they can't blank again. 3 down. We were speculating even last end. That guard by itself it's a little high. I have to believe he's going to throw the double corners here. Zhu with the 3-point lead doesn't need to throw anything on the center outside of the house, so he's going to bring the first couple into the rings. If you throw double corners, he might throw a center on the 5th one, if these two are perfectly lined up. It's pretty good.
So I think we're going to try to just kind of make this and come under cover? Or is he just throwing the guard? He's throwing the guard.
No, he's throwing the guard on the other side. And then what you might see Zhu throw a center now that he's got two lined up on the center line. And that's, again, it's not really about stealing. It's to force Maeda to play a peel on the guards. And he might lose one. Well, this has to stop. And it's
slow down. Oh, no.
Well, now Zhu's hitting a yellow one.
And he's going to hit the one in the rings. Obviously, 5th stone. He can't take out the guard yet. And I would postulate that drawing underneath that corner, like just maybe biting the 12 to try to reform that into a double corner. Definitely have to try to score a big end here. So here's Kamikawa. Now a little bit on the carve. This is going to come up dead nose. They were hoping to get some roll there, but did not happen. So now they're just going to kill this open one again. You surprised they didn't rip the card, Sean?
It's hard to be too surprised at this point in time with Maeda not hitting anything, because he's in some trouble here. He needs some points, but for Zhu,
yeah, I thought he was going to walk up and wreck the guard.
Yeah, you got one in the house. Yeah, I think you always kill the one in the house first.
Now he's going to try to utilize that guard and draw under.
Yeah, but you're sitting 3 right now. If you're buried around this guard, I still think you're sitting 2. It makes Maeda, at some point in time, he's got to deal with the rocks in the house. And while he's dealing with rocks in the house, you got plenty of time to deal with the corner guard. And that's the way you start out the end. And just because we're getting a little later in the end, it hasn't changed yet. I think you're still at that point.
They get nicely overburied there. I think that's a pretty good shot.
Yeah, except he didn't get in far enough to beat even the 3rd shot. He's 4th, so definitely you could peel the corner guard now. You almost could make an argument you don't need to, but I don't know what else you'd play. He's going to try the chase, and if they pick the corner guard, that's fine. You just can't go by everything here. I would argue the corner guard's probably more dangerous than the rock in the rings. You peel the corner guard. If they had to come around that rock in the rings, it's going to be pretty easy double.
I don't think they're going to make the chase here, Sean.
Yeah, you go by everything, and now he's got a chance to make a double himself on the other side, and now it's 1st and 3rd.
And 2's back in play.
Yeah, for sure it is, because there's no way to hit the open yellow without leaving another double.
So now here's Hiroki.
Where we at? Count the stones here. 3's not out of the question yet. You make the double. You got to make the double first. That does not move
not far enough. Not far enough at all.
Well, and that's a huge couple of inches. Like if it pushes it far enough that you're sitting third on the other side, you're one double away from, maybe being able to duck another one around and bring 3 back into play. You still got work to do now to set up 2.
So many things can be decided by a couple inches.
You're just waiting for me to say that's what she said.
No, I didn't want you to say it. I was just supposed to lay it out there, and you weren't supposed to say anything.
Just handing it back and forth this end. Is that going to
Yeah,
stick
they
around?
are. Yeah, that probably goes.
Yeah, well, maybe. It's a lot of room in between them, but I mean, if you knew it was going to stay back there hitting it that thin, that's not the worst spot you could have left it. All the doubles are hard now. There's a lot of distance between everything.
So, second chance at the double takeout. This one decidedly more difficult. Catch a piece. Oh, it's going to go underneath, I think, Sean. It does.
If there weren't 2 kinds of luck, they wouldn't be having any.
That's correct. Well, take a look at our other tiebreaker games right now. Jordan McDonald's tied up with Kelly Knapp 2-2. Yamaguchi has a 6-2 lead, just stole 3 over Coley in that game. And on the women's side,
this call makes no sense. Like, you're just asking to line up a triple. You're sitting shot in second. You don't need to steal. You're not set up to steal. Don't leave him a triple. Play to the open side. This is dangerous.
DuPont has a 3-2 lead over Cameron. I think this is an end that both teams' coaches are going to play back. And say, take me through what your thought process was here. Not even touching this.
Yeah. Well, one of them is pretty sure it's heavy. He's even pushing the other one away from rushing it. He's got a lot of room.
Oh, now it takes the right turn in Albuquerque.
That
almost like it lost handle.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that push stroke anyway, but like he dumped in front of that rock. It picked. Hard to not get a double now. Like, you can almost pick your poison. Do you want to play it right for the nose hit, get the double of the 2 reds that are close together, or the other possibility, you play the double towards the one at the back 12-foot and have your shooter sit right in front of the one that was just thrown. Zhu doesn't really have a way to take out either of the yellows now. You need him to leave you double.
A reminder, he cannot blank this end.
Yeah, and that's as much as it doesn't maybe look like there's a blank there right now. You make the double here, you leave a double back where Zhu could roll out. It might be just the one in the back when he comes to throw his last one, and he'd have to take one.
And they have 12 minutes and 50 seconds remaining on their time clock. Plenty of time. You get the hit, no roll. Just draw underneath.
You could.
Just make sure you don't leave a double, eh?
Yeah, tougher to do that. You probably got a better
Tough
chance
to
coming.
not leave it, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you come half under. Well, you got to be a little more than half. You split to the open side now, and it's definitely leaving a double to the back one unless you're all the way back to even, and then you're flirting with not being shot rock. If he's going to try the double, you want him to have to try the run double. If he has to try some kind of run double, there's a chance the shooter's not in the house, even if he makes it.
Final stone from Xiu.
Yeah, so the run double is
double for two.
Yeah, it's a nose hit though, so his shooter won't be in. I kind of think you have to play it. I mean, if you just take one, you're 2 down with out and 3 ends left to play. That's not a good situation. You try the run double though and don't make it. It could be handshakes right now.
So it's going to be the run double attempt for Maeda Takumi to stay in this game.
Yeah, I think you have to try it.
About a 10-foot run. Got a good amount of the rock that you can hit. Final stone of the 5th end. Pretty close. 1 and 2. Yes, you made it right there. Huge shot for Maeda Takumi. He gets his deuce in 5 to trim the deficit to 1. We'll be back from Martensville after this.
Brett, come on, man. I know Aztec's #1 for online safety training, but we really should be out here practicing.
I know, guys. I'll be right there. Just let me finish this course on gas detection. Wait. Do you smell that?
The 2025-2026 Grand Slam of Curling schedule is out, with big events happening all over Canada, like the Masters heading to London in September, the Tour Challenge from Nisku this October, the Canadian Open from Saskatchewan in December, and the Players' Championship from Steinbeck coming in January. Early bird weekend and full event passes on sale now at gsoctickets.com. Let's rock!
And welcome back to Martensville. It was a big deuce for Maeda because of this run back.
Yeah, his options here were pretty much limited by the scoreboard, the amount of game left. 1 point really wasn't going to get it done here. This is a big shot.
Yeah, it was an absolutely huge shot right there. Absolutely had to be made. So, solid comment in the chat as to the person behind the glass watching and watching very intently and focused, and saying that comment that might be a fanatic. That lady there by the laptop is actually the volunteer timer. So you see her there in the red. She's responsible for timing this game. It's a game. Being a volunteer timer, these are the things that make a curling event happen. It requires incredible focus because you really can't even have time to watch a strategy. You just have to watch the rocks being thrown and make sure you time it appropriately. And they always go, underappreciated at most clubs. So I tip my hat to that lady back there and all the volunteers at the club. So now we're back, and Maeda is back in the conversation here. You see Team Drago trying to loop another one in here. Needs to curl. Really has to get to the center line to be of use. Good scrub, but it's still exposed. Opportunity now for the Chinese squad to make a play here and get another one under cover. They end up taking out their own, rolling just a little bit in.
Yeah, I think they were actually trying to make a play on that yellow one. That's
yeah,
unforced error there.
Wasn't even close.
Well, for all that we've talked about the struggles that Maeda has had and a couple of bad ends, you get a steal here, you're right back to even with 2 ends to play. And he's set up now. He's got rocks to work with. That one of the 12 foot is essentially a guard. They're staggered. You got some protection from the back if you can make this draw.
Not a bad spot for that. Going to bring the peel-a-thon. They just get the top one. And here comes the guard. Just wants to be dead lined up. And here comes the peel.
Big to get them both there.
Absolutely.
That stone is such a good spot that you can guard this for your life for the steal, or are you worried about how many you might give up? Like, that's the question. That's what they're deciding right now. The problem with the hit, the scary thing about the hit is Zhu has not used his blank yet. So he could. I don't think you're looking for the double here. I think he wants to leave that red at the back just so that Zhu can't play the double back. You hit and roll to the outside. The yellows are going to be angled for a double, but there's a risk of jamming as long as that other red's back there. Rolled far enough he doesn't have to go for the double just yet. It's kind of at the point now where it's switched from a possibility of a steal to now it's Zhu trying to hold the deuce, and he's got to hold it in the 8-foot. You know, you roll too far, your opportunity's gone. You leave a double, your opportunity might be gone.
Important shot here.
Oh, rolled it absolutely perfect.
That is a very, very good roll. That double is all but impossible. Just had to roll in front of it.
Well, he's still thinking about the force too, so you know, you make a double. We're getting late. There might not be a chance to get a double back. I still like this call. It's the easier shot. It's more manageable. You can bring your sweepers in.
So, throwing a nice controlled weight. Might lose it though. No, that's perfect. Oh, stop. Oh, so close to perfect. Really, really close.
Well, it was perfect when you said it was perfect, but it hadn't stopped yet. That's the problem.
Yeah, I was being very optimistic.
It does, you know, even where it is, it's interesting. I mean, Zhu could make a play on it. He could move it, sit 2. There is no way to sit 2 and not leave a double. I mean, you could do it, roll right in front of your own, and then the only double, you'd lose them both. But if you roll right in front of your own, he's not going to play the double. He's going to play a hack weight, hit it right in the nose, and stay frozen. So Zhu's going to freeze it himself. Probably try to freeze the yellow on just a slight angle. And then see what he's left with for his last one. You freeze it on the angle. Maeda can't really hit it on the nose because he can't afford to be offset.
this chaps off.
That's still not bad. Gonna try to blow it up and get all three of them?
I do believe that that's the call. Well, we know that Takumi likes a big weight, and he cannot lie.
This needs to be pretty much right on the nose here.
Trying to curl it over. And they kick it out the side door. They lie too. Now does Zhu go for the blank, or does he just take one?
Probably not. There are teams here that likely would give that a go, but I think he just hits it on the nose, takes his one. It still restores the 2-point lead with 2 ends to go. And, you know, because of the way this game has gone and with the rule that's in place, and this might have been a consideration. You score here, you're guaranteed to have the hammer in 8 because Maeda can't blank the 7th.
Files on the 6. Hit and stick made. Shu gets a single. Maeda trails by 2 when we come back to Martensville on Curling Stadium.
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Developed over a decade in collaboration with the finest ice makers this side of the Atlantic, the Pebblehead PB5 is nothing short of a triumph of sophistication and craftsmanship. Weighing less than half its lumbering copper predecessors, yet boasting tenfold their durability, the PB5 delivers perfect, consistent ice, time after time. The PB5 by Pebbleheads.com, the apex of ice-making ingenuity for the roaring game of curling.
Welcome back to Martensville. It's the Grand Slam of Curling Canadian Open Tier 2 here at Curling Stadium. Team Maeda trails by 2. They have the hammer, throwing the yellow in end number 7. Thank you so much for joining us here. My name is Dave Schmel. I'm joined by Sean Joyce and Connor Sims, doing everything perfectly all the time. This one does not make it over the tee line, over the hog line, rather. That is, well, decidedly not perfect.
Yeah, that's making it a little harder to set up your 2 or perhaps 3. You're still going to have one corner guard to work with. Again, remember, he can't blank this end or he loses the hammer.
So they got about 8 minutes on their clock. Plenty of time left to play 2 ends. Where you play, if you hog a stone, do you have to buy a round of drinks?
Typically, yes, which makes these long guards a tougher one to throw. Not looking for a long one here, though. He needs this tight enough that if you get around it, there's no chase. This could be a lot tighter than this.
Well, it is up. You're looking to break up that stagger. On this one, hard to try to preserve some weight. Made the shot they called.
Can't really afford to try to hit his way out of trouble here either, because you can't see this go back to a blank. So you play the freeze. You're still going to be out in the open. I think if you lock this right on the corner, he's peeling the corner guard. If you don't, he'll try to hit the yellow one in the rings.
Not bad.
Yeah. Pick your poison here if you're you. You could try to pick that one out, but then he freezes to it again, and it's behind the tee line, so he can be shot rock. So you peel the corner guard. He's got no protection out front. He still has to try to find a way to generate a deuce. That is not what they played.
Yeah, they were going for the guard, and they ended up with the back one.
It's not a horrible result, but it's if I'm doing that in the game, I turn around and say I'm sorry, because that was not very close to what they played.
Yeah, Takumi Maeda has to execute perfectly here the rest of the way.
Yeah, that's really good. He's only third shot, but the guard is so high. The deeper you come, the more likely there is an opportunity to chase. So you leave that up nice and high. It's hard to chase. He's going to have to go after the guard now. He's going to try to run it, but you made this as difficult as you could. You've always got a double on the other side if you need it later when you have a chance to play it.
So here's Fei Jinqing. He does peel the guard.
Well, your choices now are either you're guarding that one again, or you're coming around the two reds. Needs to be dead lined up, because we've seen people all week long be able to chase from either turn if you leave a piece open. Yeah, it's probably enough to chase, but they're going to peel.
Another peel executed, no problem.
Don't think he's ever going to consider coming around the reds now. So what he's thinking is we either play the double now, and everything's pretty spread out. If you look at where your yellow would be if you make the nose hit double, and you can actually hit it just a hair off the nose, roll further away. Xiu's only got 2 chances left to get a double, so he'd have to group the rocks a bit more on the first one and make it on the second. And even if he hits and rolls back to center, you still have the chance to hit and roll away. Wow, he is going to look to come around now. I think you're 1 shot too late to come around, because you're still not setting up any more than 2 coming around now.
So drawing around here.
I could see this. This makes more sense to me on the last attempt. You got 4 rocks left. You come around. He peels the guard. You come around again. He hits the open one, and 3's in play. But you don't have enough rocks left for that now.
This needs to curl a long, long way. Needs to sit down at least. Well, it's second shot.
Yeah, but shot's kind of bare. Boy, this would be tempting to play the slash double. Well, I guess, again, same thing. You're late enough in the end. If you just hit this and stay open, he doesn't have enough rocks to bring that one in the front 12 back into play.
It can be extremely difficult to generate a deuce here for Maeda and Team Drago.
Needs to hold the shooter.
Does not hold it enough.
Didn't. So you make the double. The deuce is still there.
So that is a bit of unexpected fortune there. Got to make this. His first of 2 here in the 7th. Keep on moving all the way out. Yes, indeedy do.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a double. You can try to hit and long roll across to get underneath the second one, which is probably the best he can do. You throw it with quieter weight, then you can hit the first one a little bit thinner, roll a little bit deeper. Get it out there in the neighborhood somewhere. You can at least make this last shot trickier.
Yeah, it wasn't the toughest shot in the world, but it had to be made.
Yeah, no.
So they're going to catch it. Where do they roll to? They want to roll all the way undercover. They're not going to get there. Fully exposed. so Maeda has a chance to get his deuce here.
Doesn't really leave the out turn as an option, so you got to play in turn from the inside out. I don't know this team well enough. For a lot of teams, they're, teams more my generation, just because of the way we used to play the game way back when and the way the ice was, you tend to play more of your hits from the outside in, so there's a comfort factor there.
Way back when.
Yep. Before all this free guard nonsense started, yeah. Well, there were never any rocks in the middle, so whenever you were peeling from the outside in, because it was a shorter roll to the boards. There's never anything you had to worry about jamming on. It's changed now. A lot of the younger players, I've played with guys who you ask them for their turn preference. It's actually from the inside out, because now when you're...
He makes it.
Now, I'll finish that thought. Now when you're peeling guards, you have to go all the way across because you can't jam it on something in the house. So looks like he was pretty comfortable with that shot right there.
He's comfortable enough to tie it up. We'll be back with the last 10 after this on Curling Stadium.
Hey, Mark, you ready for this game tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Cupsy, what are you doing over there?
Don't worry, boys. Was just on AztecSafety.com, took a fire extinguisher safety course. Paul, I'm putting out the fires from now on. Woo!
Welcome to the RockShop.net, the official store for the Grand Slam of Curling. Whether you're looking for the best hats, stylish clothing, fun toys, or unique accessories, the Rock Shop has it all. Shop online anytime at therockshop.net for exclusive Grand Slam of Curling gear, or come see us in person at your next event. Therockshop.net, where fans find their favorite curling gear.
Who knew after 20 years in real estate I'd have to make silly videos for Instagram and come out behind a tree?
Stu, we need to do this stuff.
Why can't I just door knock into open houses like I did in the old days?
That doesn't work anymore.
Okay, so it's because I'm sitting here behind a tree. Come use us for real estate.
Welcome back to Martensville. It's the 8th end of play here in the tiebreaker round between Xiao and Maeda. Xiao has a hammer throwing the red stones in the 8th. And a very methodical deuce by Maeda with, aided by a little bit of help from his opponent.
Yeah, a little bit of a rollout helped out because there was going to be a hard time removing 3 rocks with only 2 left to go. But he left the double. Almost got out of it with his last one. Like, he rolls even 6 inches further. That's a real tricky shot to push it out. But, he played the 6th knowing, well, if we score 1 in the 6th, they can't blank 7. Even if we give up 2, we got last rock coming home. If you'd asked him before the game, are you comfortable with a situation where you're tied up coming home with last rock? Definitely he tells you yes.
I say yes most times. So now we had to bring another guard in. They called for the guard, but a little bit heavy. So now plan B, get around it. Not a bad outcome if you get all the way around. That's very important that they were able to bail there and realized it. Because in between was probably not good. So here's Zhu Jingtao. Just going to get a piece of theirs.
Yeah, that's all they were looking for, though. They didn't get that first one really deep enough, so it was acting like a second guard. That's the easiest way to move it. Now,
timeout is called.
I think you got to throw the tight guard for now. Let them peel the long one. You exchange peels for a bit. You keep throwing the long one. You hope they don't ever make the double peel. I don't know if they'd even try the double peel now with all the rocks there are to jam on right now. Mind you, none of the jams really hurt them. It's the guards that are hurting them. There's no way I'm bringing another one into the rings this early. That's a shot for maybe later.
You think just a tight guard?
Yeah, you could even bite the 12-foot is fine.
Sure, it doesn't matter now.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, that's what I like right there.
Well, and they might well be talking about that, and it's because even if you decide that's what you're going to play, and that's the shot I like, you're going to play it for a few, and then at some point in time, you're probably going to play that tap if that's all you got left, because you can't really believe that's as much as that stone is buried. It's got a piece of the 4-foot. You can't really believe it's good enough to steal with. Yeah, I don't think I'd be moving it yet. That's part of the consideration for them as well. That if they just tap it to full button, there's too many chances for a double. So if you're tapping it this early, you got to tap it to the back of the 4. Well, if you're tapping it to the back of the 4, you haven't really dramatically improved your chances. So why aren't you just throwing the guard?
Yeah, I agree. This play is
you don't need to steal
a little bit too early.
Sorry, Dave. You don't need to steal 2. So trying to tap one to the back of the 4-foot, the reason you do that in other situations is, well, if you need to steal 2, you got to get one of them to the back so you can get another good one in front of it. Well, you don't need to steal 2.
Well, don't think that's the way they were looking to do it. Didn't work out terribly, though. What do you think, Sean?
I'm peeling the guard all day. Because honestly, those rocks in the rings shouldn't be hurting you.
Well, this is not peeling the guard.
No, I know.
It must be a different day. Playing on them directly. This is just going to rattle it to the back 4.
Yeah, but he's created more shrapnel too. Like
right
now, it's hard to get to the button. It's there. You could draw to the button on the in-turn, but it's tough.
So here comes the guard that's going to be in the rings.
Yeah, you want it tight. I mean, you've kind of put him in a spot where he's going to have to peel now, you would think, for a couple. So you want it tight enough that the double peel's tough. In the rings does that. And certainly, you can come dead around a rock at the top of the 12-foot on this ice. So in the rings is fine. Well, there's no danger of being in the rings. There's a lot of danger. This might be high enough to take a run at the double.
They carry it a good amount, but they are going to go for the double peel here.
Yeah, there's still a few things that can jam on. Not all of them are bad for Zhu, so he's trying to hit this where it'll run into those 2 reds at the side. Now, if it goes over the top of the one in the 8-foot, there's a chance it slashes back at the Yellowstone at the back of the 4. I think he's hitting it the other way now.
Ooh, just over the top. So opportunity to put the guard up. taking a quick glance back at his time clock.
Yeah, he's thinking about whether or not to come around.
I don't know.
I get what he's thinking about. Like that's a really good guard. That's the kind of guard you could set up your steel around. And it's awfully tough. I mean, you're trying to drop one just over the hog line. It's still probably the right call. Drop one just over the hog line. Let them peel the long one probably twice yet. And then you come around on skips first. And even then, like he's just tapping the top of the forefoot. I think you want to be in deep enough to be able to steal with it because he's got that red on the edge of the 8 foot that he could just tap in.
So here's Maeda Hiroki.
Has to be long and has to be lined up or he'll just peel the tighter one. Oh, that's really good.
You could have walked it down better. So, Feizhu King.
Yeah, removing that one doesn't really help him. It doesn't hurt him, but it doesn't help him either. He needed to get either the red out of the 8 foot or the double peel.
Now he's looking at coming in. Or do you throw one more, Sean?
I would probably throw one more. And I think he's seeing what I'm seeing. Like, he's worried that if he throws one too many guards, Zhu's just going to come around. But you've got rocks to come off of. Actually, Zhu can't really come off his own on the other side. You could come off the yellow. But Zhu comes around, you come off the yellow, double it out, you're still okay. So you can throw one more guard. I don't think you come in until skips first. And I don't ever like coming in that high.
It just gives an opportunity to drive out too much of the shrapnel. So you like a guard, I like a guard. Even Connor, who it's his fault, but he likes a guard.
You know, I don't like this.
It comes on down. Where is it going to settle? If you're going to throw it, you need to be right where the broom is. Well, you made what you called.
Yeah, I'm doubling the yellows, and then
Timeout called.
You've got that back one surrounded. You lose the one red on the side, but that doesn't hurt you. You play the double on the yellows, leave your shooter biting the forefoot right there, and you've got angles in from both sides. I'd have been putting that right on the button. Well, and I wouldn't have been throwing it in just yet. I'd have been throwing the guard one more.
So taking a look at this here. They are going to take on the double.
Yeah, again, you'll lose the one on the side of the 8 foot, but it's not helping you anyway.
Agreed. So third last for Team Shu. On the curl side already. They did get the double.
Yeah, that works.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Leaves you in a great spot.
Well, yes and no.
My thinking is it removes a stone that they could promote in. Both stones, actually.
Well, it does, but you protect the stone at the back of the forefoot. He's going to draw freezes to it, or a few inches short. I like the intern draw and get under that red. You're working way too hard to protect a stone in the back of the forefoot.
They've called their second timeout. So you're looking here. It is Maeda that needs a steal here in the final end, tied up. Considering the double, looks like it's just going to be a downweight version of that. I'm of the thought if you're gonna throw it, you should kill the stone so they can't be used against you.
Yeah, like you certainly, if you're gonna move that red, when you have to move the one that's biting the forefoot, you want to move it behind the T line over out in the 12-foot where it's not a factor. I'm still not sure that I'm sold on this shot.
First from Maeda Takumi.
I'll grant you, it's probably easier than the intern draw to get under, but the result on the intern draw is better.
Get the hit, they roll over. Ugh.
Yeah, that's not great. He's drawing now, and he could chisel in off of his own. Actually, you could peel the guard now. What does he do? He'd have to hit and roll in, which he could do.
Yeah.
I think you have to chisel off your own right now. You can't leave your own. You can't just straight draw, leave your own sitting there. Then he plays the double. So I think you have to chisel in off your own. And you have to play it now.
Yeah, because I think if you peel the guard, he's gonna take it out and try to roll right to the button.
Yeah. And then you'd have to make the triple, which might be there, but you don't want to have to bet on that.
Take the opportunity to thank all of you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to Curling Zone on YouTube, please do. Helps us out. His second shot stone belonging to Zhu. And does he chisel off of his own now to take shot rock? Or does he wait now? By throwing that little down weight shot, there's still a hit off his own with a flat roll to kill the one in the back for. We were given Takumi a little gruff for throwing so heavy. I would have liked to have seen him throw that one heavier. Connor's fault. So it does look like the little chisel in is the call. So just come on down with back 4, back 8 kind of weight. Just grab a little piece of your own and put it right on the lid. First of 2 for the Chinese skipper. One needs to come over. They roll on in for a shot rock.
Yeah, that's really good.
So you just try to pick it out?
Pick it out. You could play the short promote yellow on the red with the chase. But either way, you're going to leave half the forefoot open, and he needs full forefoot with the draw on the last one. And this still has to be made. Like, this is not a gimme to even make him throw the last one.
Agreed. He's going to play it with the chase.
Yeah, with the chase, if he can definitely take away half the sheet with the chase, because the shooter's going to take away the in-turn side. I don't think he was playing in-turn anyway. If you get it a little bit across the face, you could take a little bit more of the out-turn side away.
So Maeda's final stone of the 8th end. Got to be shot after this. Hard on the carve. They get past it. Tap it up till they push it far enough out. They do.
Shooter rolled farther than I would have thought. They might have left the in-turn.
They do have the in-turn draw to backing, but they are going to make him throw the last. Take another look at it, Shawnee.
Yeah. Well, you see that little point that this was more weight than they were planning to throw. That might be why they had to carve it. Of course, they needed the finish to get it far enough. But if you just stop, if you get half that much roll, the in-turn side's gone, and he's got to draw cold to the outside half of the forefoot. Now it's there. You still have to be careful with this. Visually, it looks easier because you got backing. But if you're a little off nose on that backing, you sure don't have very far to roll.
So Xiao Ming for the game. Final stone of the 8th.
Sweepers will make a quick judgment on the weight, and then it's all weight on the line.
Just a light brush.
Yeah, that's making it look like they want to go. Weight looks okay, though.
They need the line. And they got it. So that's going to be a win for Xiao Ming over Maeda Takumi by a score of 6-5. They'll advance to the quarterfinals. We thank all of you for joining us. Our next game will be at 1 p.m. Sorry, noon Central Time, rather. And right now, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, that's the women's quarterfinals. The men's quarterfinals will be there after that, and then semifinals later tonight.
And we do thank you all so much for joining us. So for Connor Sims and Sean Joyce, I'm Dave Schmel. Thank you so much for joining us on Curling Stadium. Arigato gozaimasu.